And we are live. Man, I've missed that music. Love the Warsaken. Special music only for Warsaken. At least the way I have it set up here. It's NashvilleLou Live. Warsaken Blitz. First time in more than a month for me to live stream some Warsaken. I'll be taking on bossbaby the princess tonight. So that should be a lot of fun. We're going to have some Twitchy Tides games in between the games of Warsaken Blitz. We've got 3 people in for this first game of the contest. Coming up later in the hour, we'll be giving away a Warsaken booster pack from Series 1. Your chance to win's coming up. We'll also have some Warsaken foil prime cards to give away in these Twitchy Tides games. Let me see if bossbaby is ready. Thank you. Got the code. Thank you. Good luck. Have fun. Bossbaby's nice enough to send me this code. Let me take the slate down. That would be helpful as well. Trying not to get out of order on this. I moved some things around in OBS Studio, which is always a dangerous thing. It's kind of necessitated when I switch between games. There we go. So you can see you've got the... It's like there's a severe weather watch in effect. They get the little pop-up box when you're trying to watch golf on a Sunday afternoon. But that shows you the Twitchy Tides. The number of participants in for this first Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast. We'll get to that on the other side of this first Warsaken Blitz game, as I'm going to be taking on bossbaby the princess. I'm looking forward to this. Been trying to get this set up for a while. We've got it now. We're going to start with gold, gold, gold. Or actually, I'll do you one better. So go to battle. Join with code. Gold, gold, gold. No, that's not the right way to do that. You can tell I'm a little rusty at this. This interface is a bit awkward. I hope when they finally get Game Reward XP that we'll have a little bit more intuitive in this kind of weird setup I've endured for 2 years now. Join with code is what I needed, I think. Okay. I'm not up to a hot start. I have to type in this code here. All right, thank you. All right, so I got the code here from bossbaby. Look at this typed in. Look at this first game of Warsaken Blitz go. I'll be taking on bossbaby the princess tonight. Now I typed in the wrong keyboard. Me typing it back to bossbaby in this Discord chat is not going to be... That's not going to get me in the game. Ugh. The technical stuff always presents challenges for me. Gold, gold, gold. You got to earn it. Turn that audio down a little bit there. Just a smidge. So taking on bossbaby the princess. This will be about a 2-hour and change broadcast. We'll probably have about 4 or 5 games of Warsaken Blitz. We're going to have games of Twitchy Tides. Everybody gets to play with Twitchy Tides. So that's coming up. We'll have that just on the other side of this first game. With Warsaken Blitz, you start with your leader card, 4 territories, and your arsenal of 60, your deck. You're then dealt 8 cards from that deck of 60. You want to have 15 sets of 4. And with my starting, I'm looking for a pair of weather cards, or a pair of intel cards, or a pair of force cards. I've got that, so I'm not... You can use a mulligan, and it'll reshuffle your deck and deal you 8 cards again. Don't take that mulligan if you got something you can at least work with right away, which I have here. So we'll keep. It's not an all-gold deck for me. I got a lot of gold in here. Makes for some fun streaming. Even though tactically it doesn't give me any sort of advantage unnecessarily. So it randomly chooses one of the 2 players to go first. It chose me. And we're underway. Roll to 3. All right, nothing makes a match. Wide open war zone. You've got 4 spots open in your war zone. Multiples of the same card only take up 1 spot. So I'll play a pair of tropical cyclones. These blood foil tropical cyclones. Only 4 of these cards exist. I own all 4 of them. 2 of them right there. 3 spots open in my war zone. 1 action for the turn. Little intel out there. Assassination attempt. That's it for the turn. We've got 5 people in already for this first Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast. You can join the list and get in on it by typing !play in chat. Taking on bossbaby the princess here in Warsaken Blitz. Had so much fun yesterday with Tides Tuesday and Twitchy Tides. And that train really did keep chugging all the way into Consumer Break Show. Meanwhile, a force match. So I got some blood foil for you, pal. So bossbaby with a force match. A force match eliminates one of your opponent's 4 territories. Your objective is to eliminate your opponent's leader. You got to compromise your opponent's leader. One of the ways to do that is by eliminating all of your opponent's territories. My turn. 4. All right, so I've got options here. Gonna see a forced discard happen here. There's nothing out there to bounce from my opponent's war zone. Intel gives you a few different options. It doesn't matter what the Intel cards are. Just the fact that you have an Intel match. Warsaken Blitz is the simplified version of Warsaken. The categories are what matter here. Suit X, Intel. I can mill 6 cards from my opponent's deck, their arsenal as it's called in the game, to the discard pile. I don't want to do that. I want to force an enemy discard to 3. That'll happen after my turn is over. So I won't get to see my opponent's hand, but I'll get to see... You can peek in your opponent's discard pile. It's quite nice. I've got this right here to hold on standby for now. Keep that on layaway. I'll play a second assassination attempt. Now, Boss Baby has to discard 3 of those 8 cards that she has in hand. She already played those force cards, those outriders, so it won't be those. If she has a 4th of those, then that's how it goes. All right, so you got Intel. This will also give you some insight on what kind of deck configuration your opponent has. There's some value to doing this besides just goofing on it. Propaganda, which is a morale card, and an Intel. Roll of 5, taking on Boss Baby the Princess in this Warsaken Blitz special. We're going to have Twitchy Tides games coming up throughout the broadcast in between these games of Warsaken Blitz. We got a weather match there for Boss Baby. So that's going to be an extra turn with 2 actions still to go for this turn. I've missed Warsaken. I have so much fun with this game. Here are morale cards. Extra turn, roll of 5. You see that shield? Look at the number 16 on it. 17 up there for Boss Baby. That's your morale. If your morale hits 0, that gives you a compromised leader just as if all of your territories were eliminated, or if your arsenal got down to 0 cards. Those are the 3 ways you can get a compromised leader. Once your opponent has a compromised leader, all you need is 1 force match to eliminate that compromised leader and win the game. I've got that categories overlay. That's not part of the game. That's something I have here custom with my live stream because it helps people to learn the categories. Only 6 of them, and morale doesn't come into play that much. A morale match will knock 6 points off of your opponent's morale total. There's a lot out there. Look at this. A pair of morale cards, a building card, a WMD Flame Tech version, no less, and then a weather card. My turn. 3. I'd prefer to keep that on standby. I could go back for Intel, but I don't think that's the prudent move here. What I'm going to do instead is play a pair of weather cards, Tranquil Sunlight. I got 2 sets of 2 weather along with a pair of Intel cards. I very much value keeping that 4th spot in my war zone open. If that's filled, you want to play something else, you're going to have to do a pullback or something else has to happen. And that sometimes is the difference between winning and losing in Warsaken Blitz. One of the things you have to get over playing Warsaken Blitz is the feeling that you're being wasteful by not using all of your actions on a given roll. All of your, one action to go here, but keeping that open is the priority for me, so I'm going to. Or pass up that last action in the turn. And that's mild. That's passing up 1 action. Sometimes I'm talking about 4 or 5 or even 6. And it hurts when that happens. Oh, feels like a wasted opportunity. But remember, if you put something out there in your war zone, your opponent could make an Intel match and then bounce that from your war zone to your discard pile. Greetings and welcome, everybody. So we got 11 people in for this first Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast. We'll have that when we get to the conclusion of this Warsaken Blitz game. Look at all that out there. A pair of building cards, a pair of morale cards, a WMD, and a weather. My turn. 4. I don't want to use the building cards yet. But this way, okay, what makes sense? I mean, I can go back for Intel. Okay, great. Whoop-de-doo if I do that. The problem is if I don't think I'm going to play anything here. So this is what I'm talking about, having to... Even with me saying that moments ago, it's still tough to pass up 4 actions, and yet I think that's the best move. If I had a pair of weather cards in hand, I'd probably pull back those Intels, put weather out there. I love having weather. If I have to have a pair out there, make it weather. But in this case, I'm not going to play anything. I'm going to pass up those 4 actions. It hurts even... Again, it feels counterintuitive, but that's just part of it. In the turn. It's not like being wasteful. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess. This is a Warsaken Blitz special here on NashvilleLou Live. Roll of 5. 14 cards in hand and 5 actions for Boss Baby. She's been involved a lot with the Warsaken Friday streams. There's a pullback. So that makes room for that 4th spot in Boss Baby's war zone. This could be a force match. There's 2. Look at that Flame Tech. There's a 3rd. punctuation mark there with the gold. But they function the same. It's the same card title. And you can use them together. I'm down to 2 cards, 2 territories, I should say. A WMD match eliminates 2 territories. So if Boss Baby were to get a 3rd WMD to play out there, that would eliminate my final 2 territories and give me a compromised leader. So I'm up against it here early. 2. Well, that's highly unsatisfactory. Guess what? Passing up the actions in the turn. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess. This Warsaken Blitz special. I talked it up a lot yesterday during my Tides Tuesday broadcast. Roll 3. And we'll have plenty of Twitchy Tides games here in between these games of Blitz. And what was I telling you about that WMD? This is going to give me a compromised leader. A WMD match will eliminate my final 2 territories. You can play most 1 WMD match per side. In a given game of Warsaken, there's a force card. And another standalone force card. 1 force match would beat me. Morale can't really hurt me at this point. It would be, I mean, if I had some morale cards to use against Boss Baby, that could be used defensively, but that's not going to come into play. Point is, I got to get something going here right now, right away. 1. Brutal. I could play one of those, but just not going to do it. Pass at the Boss Baby's like, what are you doing, Lou? But this really is the best play here. Even though this looks dire, I know. Roll 1. So I know for sure I'll get at least 1 more roll. There's only the 1 action there. And there's a 2nd force card. I'm up against it. And yet I've seen it. As long as you still have a roll of the die and you got at least some cards in your arsenal, you have a chance no matter how bleak it looks in Warsaken Blitz. I've seen some absolutely crazy rallies happening. Let's see if we can do something here. Roll a 5. Well, it's not perhaps a rally opportunity. But I can do something. It'll be a complete one-sided loss. DX8 Force. Force match allows me to eliminate one of my opponent's territories. Why are there only 3 territories out there? Am I missing something? Was there a game update I didn't hear about? That tenant card there. Those tenant cards are hard to come by. So for all this me yak and trying to explain 1,000 different things, I didn't really know. She only has 3. She was hinting that she had a different kind of build, apparently. I thought you had to have 4. So I don't know what to say about that. Here's the problem for me now, though. I only have 2 actions left for the turn. I mean, I got the building cards. I strongly dislike putting building cards out there in partial form. If I had enough to do a pullback and then play weather, put more weather out there, but you see what I'm up against, and I'm going to pass up those actions in the turn. So it's looking bleak, and yet you never know for sure. I mean, it's improbable things happen where I've won or lost. Oh, when it looked like it was either I had it in the bag or I was done for. Roll a 5. This should do it right here. 16 cards in hand. All Boss Baby needs is 1 force match to bait me. Also the possibility of a weather match for an extra turn, but that could prove immaterial. There's a pullback on the morale cards, so there's space open. If she's got a force, but those building cards. Got that ghost training facility, just 1 of them. That's very interesting. Okay, well. A reprieve for at least 1 more turn for me. I'm still throwing up the 3 territories up there. It's highly unconventional. I didn't think it was possible. 6. Okay, so I've got a WMD match and a force. So if she only has 3 territories, I can play a WMD match, give her a compromised leader, and win the game. Maw's Gas, WMD match. If there's a secret 4th territory hidden, then okay, that's a different matter. Abandoned Wasteland, -1 morale. Vast Hinterland, -1 morale. The only 2 cards in the game to this point that have that. I'll destroy them. So she really only had those 3 territories, and that's going to cost her the game, because guess what? Sergeant Taven Reed. For the win. What a rally. What an improbable ending. My goodness. Oh, there was a glitch on it. Oh. Oh. Oh, there was a glitch. I thought that was a unique deck build. That's unfortunate. I thought, like, wow, there's something new. Maybe I've, you know, it can be tough to keep up with news in that Warsaken Discord. It's like 1,001 GIFs get posted in there, which people have fun with. That's great and all, but then sometimes if you're trying to scroll through and catch up, you miss actually important information. So I won, but kind of a Pyrrhic victory. Not even Pyrrhic, an empty victory. As far as only having 3 territories there for Boss Baby. But this is really, it's more an exhibition of Warsaken Blitz. We're playing for fun. And we're going to play again relatively soon. This time, and that next time we'll do it Boss Baby's way. She was kind enough to, I really want to use this format and go with this. We got 16 people in for this next game, this first game, I should say, of Twitchy Tides of the broadcast. I'll join as well with exclamation point play. And look what I got in the 5 spot right here. Well, what is this? Ability. I'll show you. Inferno Nessie. I've got a bounty block. It's linked in chat. That bounty block, the chance to win the mint number 69 Nessie. Not the Inferno Nessie, the Nessie Storm Scale that was part of the Twitchy Tides, that big event they had this past Saturday, big dig event they had with Warsaken Blitz over on, not with Warsaken Blitz, with Twitchy Tides over on Twitchy Tides TV. We're going to get back to Warsaken Blitz here in a moment. Actually, before we get to the game, last chance to get in on that. But yeah, that was weird with the territories. Thought that really was an unusual deck build. That's one thing is the challenge with this is I don't have a producer. I don't have anybody to fix the audio if it goes bad. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with a live broadcast. I sort of double my. I can't talk and say one thing and write another. I'm not any good at that. I don't like it because it makes Warsaken look bad when the game glitches out on stream, but I can't control that. 17 people in for this first Twitchy Tides game for the winner. A Warsaken foil prime card. Plus a promo item from the NashvilleLou collection. You can use that in that bounty block event. If you don't win that grand prize, the Nessie, there's some Warsaken Blitz. There'll be some Force cards given away as well to some of the consolation prize winners. Let's go through this list of players. Look at that second game of Warsaken going here in just a moment or two. We've got Liquid Shell, Parrot 314, Fawny T, Funkin' Crypto, Autumn's Toys, Finest HM, Rock Metal, Notorious Ninja, Soul the Cat, hey there cat, Chucky, Nadu6, Tech, Pennybags Jr., RCPADG, Terran Lore, Flower, and me, NashvilleLou. That Inferno Nessie. 17 players. If I win, prize goes to second place. And this first Twitchy Tides game begins now. Good luck. Hopefully we'll have a full complement of territories for Boss Baby for our second game coming up. It feels a lot more of an empty win, that growl. Like, wait, that was not the intent. Meanwhile, I got Wind and Weather here. Flower and Notorious Ninja are out early. We're down to 15. Terran Lore and Autumn's Toys are out. Man, I gotta keep this window open here. I'm gonna miss stuff. Cannonball. I'm out along with Soul the Cat and Pennybags Jr., so it's a top 10 finish for the remaining players. But who's gonna be the winner? Pink Felicia, Stings, Fawny T, and Parrot 314. We're down to 8. More than half the field is out. We'll have more Warsaken Blitz coming up after this Twitchy Tides game. We'll have Twitchy Tides game throughout the broadcast. Between these battles of Warsaken Blitz, as a depth charge takes out Parrot and Funkin' Crypto. We're down to 7. Now it's Debo the Shark. Chomping away, taking out Liquid Shell and Tech. We're down to 5. Most of these enemies I have capped at 2 kills per crossing. Every time they cross from one side of the screen to the other. The exception is the Cannonball, which is set at 3. The Hook from Big Worm Rock Metal is out. Down to the final 4. Nadu 6, Chucky, Finest, and RCPADG. We'll have another Warsaken Blitz game against Boss Baby live here in just a couple of moments. A Cannonball takes out RCPADG. We're down to 3. Chucky is out. We're down to 2. I was trying to communicate there. Pull up Discord for a half second. Tough to do that in the midst of the live game. So it's going to be Finest HM or Nadu 6 is the winner. And you can see Big Worm, that hook is set there just to the left with that Twitchy Tide sign. Spin move by Finest. Nadu 6 hits the hook, and that's the game. So congratulations. Finest HM victorious here in this first Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast. So for Fonny, tee on up, a top 10 finish. Trying to get this to cooperate with me here. All the way to number 1, your winner. Finest HM with a victory. We'll be open for this next game of Twitchy Tides. Exclamation point play in chat to get in for that. We'll switch things back over to Warsaken Blitz. Okay. I can send you the code if you're ready. I'm taking on Boss Baby the Princess. So happy to... disappointing that that 3 territory setup she had there wasn't some sort of unusual new modern take on Blitz. It was just the game, unfortunately, not showing all 4 territories, but no excuses here for this next time for me. Join with code. This time we'll use, it says optimized for game XP. It's pretty close to that. What I have. Game reward XP, once we get that, oh, it's going to be so much fun. Make sure you can see what I can see here. I have Discord pulled up here so I can chat. Okay, so that is the proper thing. So it'll show a code to me that you can't see because of my overlay. It works out perfectly the way that lays out. Okay. Code. My dyslexia, my mild dyslexia didn't kick in. So I'm taking the right letters and numbers. Sometimes I have to double check. Look, have fun. So I'm playing Boss Baby the Princess and Warsaken Blitz. We'll have another Twitchy Tides game coming up on the other side of this next Blitz game. I already got 8 people in. Exclamation mark play in chat. This won't be my longest broadcast ever.
Warsaken.
We should get about 4 or 5 games in of Warsaken Blitz. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess. We're going to have Twitchy Tides games later this hour. We'll be giving away a Warsaken Series 1 booster pack. Your chance to win's coming up with that. All right, again, with a starting 8, I'm just looking for cards that, something I can work with to start the game. So I roll a 2 and don't get anything to help me. That's what I'm thinking of. In that scenario, what do you do? And this is the deliberation over whether to use a mulligan. 4 territories there for Boss Baby, so she's good on that. That was very confusing before. Anyway, I got 2 weathers I can keep. I can work with that right away if I need to. This is the code incoming game mat that I'm using. You can customize by deck some of the cosmetics, as they're called, like the game mat, the card sleeves. We got the card backs over there. Even the tie, like this Intel Brigade. You can, and those are elements in game that you can buy and sell on the market. It's really nice. So a pair of Intel cards and a morale card, which is very interesting. It's also gold and blood foil red. 1. But the primary concern for me is, okay, what kind of deck configuration does Boss Baby have here? Just a 1 action, wide open war zone. I'll play a weather card. Lasting Blizzard. Roll a 5. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess, the second game of the broadcast. Warsaken Blitz, the special presentation. We got Twitchy Tides games. We already had the first one. We'll have several more over course the next couple hours. There's an Intel match. The question here for Boss Baby, is she going to mill 6 cards to my arsenal, to my discard pile? That is the move. With an Intel heavy deck, that tends to be the approach, because one of the ways you can compromise your opponent's leader is to get their arsenal, their deck, down to 0 cards. That can be a frustrating way to lose when you don't have what you need in hand to win, and you're drawing dead and there's nothing left in your arsenal, and you don't have the building cards to go back to your discard pile. But as I noted, it's very easy to learn how to play Warsaken Blitz. There are only 6 categories. This is the simplified version. It doesn't matter what the rarity is. It doesn't matter if it's gold, blood foil, or common. For the purposes of Blitz, they function the same. A pair of force cards, along with that morale card, and then another pair of cards. These are intels. And you see that emblem, that insignia there at bottom left? That's why I have that as part of the overlay. The name of the category and that associated emblem, so you can tell in a moment what you're facing. So, okay, because that's what matters for Blitz. It doesn't matter what force pair it is, it's just that it is a pair of force cards. My turn. 5. All right, nothing makes a match. There's the ever-present threat of a pair of intel cards staring me down for as long as those are out there, but Lasting Blizzard. Sometimes you'll see ahead of time that your opponent has intel, and sometimes you won't. 3 spots open by Warzone, 4 actions to go for the turn. I don't want to play a pair of building cards. That's just begging for intel to balance it. When you're building cards, I love to bounce my opponent's building cards. When it happens to me, not so much. So this is a weird spot. I don't want to put WMDs out there because those get bounced as well. So here we go again. Passing up 4 actions, ending the turn. Second game of the broadcast, a special presentation of Warsaken Blitz. It's a roll of 6 for Boss Baby. Hey there, Going Tonto. Greetings and welcome, everybody. Welcome to NashvilleLou Live. Speaking of building cards, there's a building match for Boss Baby. She's going back for the intel. That was the only 3 cards she had in her discard pile. I love that you can look in your opponent's discard pile. Well, here's more intel. It's probably going to mill 6 cards from my arsenal to my discard pile. No, it's going to be the forced discard. Now, all's fair in turnaround, right? That happened to me in the first game. Ooh, this is never pleasant. I'm not throwing out building cards. That's nonsense. Split up the weathers, maybe. Oh, that's... Ooh, I don't like these choices. This is not... I mean, it's not even fun when it happens to you in the game. That's part of it. All right, well, you know what? Intel. Weather. Other weather. I turn. That's 3 fewer cards in hand, so... and cause you... sometimes you have to, that forced discard, you finally make that tough decision, and then that next turn you get what would have otherwise been a match. Where you get 3 the same card title. Alright, so 3 spots open by Warzone. 3 actions for the turn, nothing in hand to make a match. Taking on Boss Baby, the Princess, and Warsaken Blitz. We're going to have another Twitchy Tides game coming up on the other side of this game of Blitz. Your chance to win's just ahead. 2 sets of 2 weather with 2 spots open by Warzone, 1 action for the turn. But I've grown more and more cautious about what I put out in that 3rd spot by Warzone. We got the 4 rows, essentially. Because an intel can go boom, 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 and really mess you up. So I'm going to pass up this last action in the turn. Roll of 1. A morale match would knock 6 points off of my shield, that number there. That's the morale. Boss Baby has 17 for her morale. Mine's at 19. If you have a territory that gets eliminated, there's an associated amount of morale, like this, my 24 karat gold treasury department, with that high yield up in here, which really doesn't have anything to do with Blitz, but just fun to say. But it has a -4 morale if it gets taken out, so that would knock 4 points off the shield. I don't know why the shield goes dark for this part, but it does. I want you to see the dice. Okay, it's your turn to roll, pal. Quit politicking and get to it. Roll a 2. A pair of intel cards still staring me down. Like, I could put a pair of Dimitri Tech 11 mechs out there, forces, but not going to do it. Pass up the actions in the turn. Roll a 5. Again, in chat, I've got it linked information with its exclamation point play to get in for that next Twitchy Tides game. Also, the link NashvilleLou.com/contest takes you right to that bounty block that I've got set up. I have 5 winners in total. Those consolation prize packages include Warsaken Force cards, Grand prize from Twitchy Tides is a Nessie Storm Scale, mint number 69. Information available there in chat, pinned at the top. There's a building match. If you're going back for intel, you wouldn't go back for building cards. That would be rather counterproductive. My turn. 6. Well. Why you don't put stuff out there to get bounced? Because eventually, you're lucky it does finally work out getting 3 of the same card. HXO Force. Remember, it's the categories that matter in Warsaken Blitz, so it doesn't matter what the cards are per se, other than that they're 3 force cards that make a match. That allows me to bounce one, or to eliminate, not bounce, but eliminate one of my opponent's 4 territories. I'll eliminate Weapons District. That's a legendary card. Only 25 of those exist. Now it's gone. 3 actions to go for the turn. Let's play this to Maitre of Tech 11 Mech 4. So this card is a rank 4 card. It means business, but ultimately, the rank doesn't matter as far as Blitz goes. It's just the fact that it's a force match that matters. So it's not like I'm gonna have, because I've got the more expensive and the larger card collection, I'll be at an advantage. It's an even playing field with Blitz. I love it that way. It makes it great for new people coming in to learn the game. There's a tenant card at Brotherland Field. Those tenant cards give you 10,000 loot per day, as long as you're making your claims. Warsaken. If you got Warsaken cards and you're not making claims, then you're just passing up free loot. Anyway, let's eliminate it. I think it's Boss Baby down to 2 remaining territories, but that's it for the turn. Special presentation of Warsaken Blitz. Roll 1. Got 14 players in for the next Twitchy Tides game. There's a weather match. That'll mean an extra turn for Boss Baby. Rolls a 1. So when you roll the die, you get that many actions for the turn and that many cards that you draw from your arsenal, your deck, called Arsenal in this game, to your hand. I love that it shows you how many cards your opponent has in hand. If your opponent gets to the point of having 20 or more cards, look out. That's when things can really take off. I think those wild swings that happen sometimes in this game. So a pair of force cards, a weather, and that ever-present intel pair looming out there ominously. My turn, roll a 2. You can see the deterrent effect it has. Now, sometimes you're actually doing your opponent a favor by discouraging them from being overly aggressive, at least in my opinion. But there are different ways, a lot of different ways to play this game. Lasting Blizzard, weather. Weather match. Now you go +3 actions. There are certain specific situations, particularly late in the game, where you might do that, but usually you're going to take that extra turn. Yeah, +1 turn. Love an extra turn. 1 action to go for this turn. The black camo version. Sting tried so hard to get me to trade. I can't. This is a 4-star or for a rank 4 intel. I got this thing set up quite nicely for my Game Reward XP deck. Just the 1 action there remaining for the turn, but now the extra turn. 6. Building. I was really hoping a WMD match was going to drop in. That didn't happen sometimes. With that. Oh, let's see. A little shopping. I could go back. You know what I could do is go building, go back for weather, play the weather, and get another extra turn. I don't know if that's really the best move, but it might be. Although I really think the better move is to play rummage. Do that. A little bouncing. Rummage. Again, these cards are different colors, but that card title is what matters to have a match. 3 the same. You have 15 sets of 4 in Warsaken Blitz. Intel match. Let's bounce. Bounce 3 cards from your opponent's war zone to your opponent's discard pile. B3 ons will bounce. Monsoon Storm weather. Could go with that. We'll get at least one of these calculated interference intel. It's a gold. Bounce it. Question is, do I go with the weather or do I split those forces? with a Monsoon Storm. It's a cool-looking card, that Flame Tech Monsoon Storm. Alas, got bounced. All right, 4 actions still to go for the turn. Let's see. Weather-wise, I've got that in hand. I don't think there are 3 Blinding Sandstorms over here. That's a blizzard, not a sandstorm. Get the 1 right here. Of course, think about if I were to go back for weather and then have 4 in hand, I could play 1. Even if it got bounced, that'd still be okay. But that's not going to be the case here. All right. Hyper Defense Barrier. Building Match. Now you can return 6 cards from your discard pile to your arsenal, your deck. If you're getting your arsenal milled, I'm down to 21, so I'm getting close, but I'd much rather bring back some weather. 3 spots open in my war zone, 1 action for the turn. Now, Boss Baby will know I just brought these back, so putting 1 out there would be risky if she's got an intel match ready to play. So instead of that, I'm going to put an intel card out there. Targeted Sabotage. Ooh. That's it for the turn. It's a roll of 6. 19 cards and 6 actions here for Boss Baby the Princess. My opponent here in this special presentation of Warsaken Blitz. You, the audience, get to play Twitchy Tides games in between these Warsaken Blitz games. If you want to get into that next game of Twitchy Tides, you can do so by typing !play in chat. There's a force match for Boss Baby. That will eliminate one of my 4 territories. There goes my 24-karat gold treasury department. I'm down to 3 territories remaining. Remember, once you get down to 0 territories, at that point you got a compromised leader. Pair of weather cards. 1 action to go for the turn. Remember, I split up what had been a pair of intel cards out there with that calculated interference, I think it is. It turned out to be the right move. My turn. At least how it looks now. Roll 1. Well. Okay, well. Given that, I'll play the second targeted sabotage intel. And that ends my turn. Pair of weather cards, pair of intel cards. Roll of 1 for Boss Baby the Princess, who's my opponent tonight in Warsaken Blitz. If this next game of Warsaken, or excuse me, this next game of Twitchy Tides, be giving away a Warsaken booster pack from Series 1. That's going to be the prize for the next Twitchy Tides game coming up after this Warsaken Blitz game concludes. Roll of 2. Well, oh no, again with this weather, but this will work with the lasting blizzard. First, though, Tropical Cyclone. Weather. With that extra turn. I will play one of these 4 lasting blizzard cards I have here. I'll play the legendary version. Extra turn. 6. Really hoping a WMD match was going to drop in. Did not happen. Intel. Gotta force that. If I could get a WMD match, I could hold on for the win. Could maybe, but I don't know. I don't have a building match to use right now. We'll play the weather to get an extra turn. Wreak a little bit of havoc here with that targeted sabotage. And we'll see from there. Lasting blizzard again. Back in the forecast. More snow. I'm gonna get Punxsutawney Phil. Extra turn. Oh, it's not gonna be the extra turn. If this happens when you're playing Warsaken Blitz, it's easy to. This is the one bug this game has. Hit F5. Takes about a few seconds. The game shows back up. A few more seconds, and you can see the cosmetics pop back into play. Suddenly, my game mat is back. My die. Set up the card backs, etc. Now I need to actually finish this and go extra turn. Still have 4 actions to go for this turn. How long do you wait? We'll see. First, though, targeted sabotage. Bounce.
Select target.
We'll bounce a gold air pollution.
Select target.
Bounce a second one of these. One of these got bounced before. It's calculated interference. I'll bounce a second one.
Select target.
So if Boss Baby wants to play that, she's going to have to use building cards to go get it. I already split up the B3 Onsel pair. What is this right here? Omar Park sneaking in. Up to no good. That's a smooth-looking Flame Tech card, though, man. I love Flame Tech. Look at the darker cards. Really pops. I praise it and then I knock it out. 3 actions for the turn. A4 Revenge Super Carrier. Is it doing it again? F5. Sometimes it gets a little bit cranky like that. Okay, F5 it, and all right. And we're doing this my way. I'm not going to play 2 at once or 3, but that's not the idea. Want 2 and 2 only out there. Another A4 Revenge Super Carrier. 3 spots open in my war zone. 1 action for the turn. Choices here weather-wise. If it was the place, I think it's a one-off. It would be a weather in all likelihood. I can throw a Demon Shield out there just to do it, but I don't think that's going to work too well for me. Well, the Blizzard, I really don't... Those cards are played already. Fire in the Fields, I think there's one there. We'll go Blinding Sandstorm, throw it out there. Extra turn. Big roll right here. 6! There we go. Finally got that WMD match. So if I play this properly, I'll get the win. Maw's Gas. That's a WMD match. That will eliminate Boss Baby's final 2 territories and give her a compromised leader. Compromised. 3 actions. Demon Shield for the win. Your opponent is a compromised leader, a force match. Eliminates that leader and wins you the game. Boss Baby's joking me. You don't have to roll a 6 on a weather match. Good game. I was telling Boss Baby there that I'm going to take about a 5-minute break here coming up in just a moment. Okay. Turned out well for me there at the end. Got the victory in that Warsaken Blitz game. So I take one, usually, at least here on NashvilleLou Live, take 1 break per hour. So I'm going to do that now. It'll be about a 5-minute break. On the other side of that, we'll be back with a Twitchy Tides game, the winner. Get an item from the NashvilleLou collection, along with a Warsaken Series 1 booster pack. After that, we'll have more Warsaken Blitz games coming up. Have a special presentation taking on Boss Baby the Princess. We'll have another Series 1 pack as well to give away in our next hour. And of course, that chance to win Nessie Stormscale mint number 69. NashvilleLou.com/contest will take you right to that bounty block. It has all the information for that contest coming up, that giveaway, your chance to win. And your chance to win with this next Twitchy Tides game in just a few minutes. Warsaken Blitz, it's Twitchy Tides, it's NashvilleLou Live. Stay tuned. right, back from break here on NashvilleLou Live. We'll have more Warsaken Blitz here in just a few moments. The special presentation taking on Boss Baby the Princess. But right now, we've got 15 players in for this next game of Twitchy Tides. I'll take down the overlay. Type exclamation mark play in chat, and I'll use 5 spot that Inferno Nessie. Right. Now, why is it type with a 5? That Buster Beaver's in the 3 spot, supposed to be. I need an answer on this immediately. Team. That's what happened to my Inferno Nessie? Did you get some heat with somebody? Well, luckily I've got many different. I mean, Buster Beaver's fine, but I'm going to use the Lulu fish here. Lulu's become my unofficial mascot here on NashvilleLou Live. The name is very similar to Lulu. Got a cool sounding command with exclamation dream. So that's what I've gone with Twitchy Tides. Let's go through this list of participants. We'll have this Twitchy Tides game. Then we'll have our next game of the broadcast of Warsaken Blitz as I take on Boss Baby the Princess here tonight. So 17 players now. We got Flower, Liquid Chill, Funkin' Crypto, Fonny T, Chucky, Cartman Bra, Soul the Cat, Finest HM, Terran Lore, Going Tonto, Random King, Parrot, me, NashvilleLou with the Lulu Fish, Cesaro NLV, Notorious Ninja, Autumn's Toys, and Pennybags Jr. Those 17 players. For the winner, a promotional item from the NashvilleLou collection you can use in that bounty block I've got linked, pinned in chat. I linked NashvilleLou.com/contest. And part of that, you can burn those NashvilleLou promo items and get entries into that contest, that giveaway. A bunch of stuff doesn't cost anything to do. A lot of different streamers. You probably already follow a lot of them if you are into wax gaming at all. So anyway, point being, there's a lot of opportunity there, so a chance to check that out. All right, 17 players for this next game. If I win, prize goes to second place. Make that 18 players. Nadu 6 is in. And this second game of the broadcast begins now. Good luck. It's Twitchy Tides. You're on NashvilleLou Live. We'll have more Warsaken Blitz after this. Early on, Cannonball takes out Autumn's Toys, Liquid Chill, and Terran Lore. Down to 15. Little winded weather here. A storm caller command from Funkin' Crypto's fish. That's like the one step up from the Inferno Nasty. That's the top tier one right there. Now it's Debo. Debo the Shark going left to right. Chomps away, takes out Chucky, takes out Nadu 6. Well, he gets dealt with, but damage done. We're down to 11. And there's a lot more to Twitchy Tides than what I show here on stream. It's just for my purposes, this is outstanding. Parrot and Fonny T taken out by Big Worm with that hook. Half the field is out. We're down to 9. So for the remaining players, you've got a top 10 finish. We got more rain in the forecast. Let's go to the 7-day forecast. Weather and traffic on the 9s. Like I'm doing morning radio, morning TV in Tampa again, like it's 25 years ago. Depth charge. Finest and Random King are out. We're down to 7. There's a pack on the line. Warsaken Series 1 booster pack. Now it's Debo the Shark chomping away again. Going Tonto is out. Cartman Bra taken out. Cartman Bra is part of that Tides Tuesday. Had so much fun with that last night. Looking for that again coming up Tuesday next week, 10 p.m. Eastern. Now it's Pink Felicia zapping Funkin' Crypto and Soul the Cat. Down to the final 3. I'm in there along with Flower and Pennybags Jr. To show off the Dream command. I thought I saw Debo the Shark for a moment there, but I think Debo got sent back in the other direction. Heavy rain here. Got a flood advisory. Of course, we're underwater as well with fish, so. And yet it works. Meanwhile, it's Cannonball under the cover of darkness takes out Flower. So Pennybags Jr. is going to get the prize But who's going to get the win? Big Worm is set just to the right of that coral there in that bottom right corner. Spin move by Pennybags. Looks like that's where my fish is heading. That's going to do it. So congratulations, Pennybags Jr. gets the victory in this second game of the broadcast and wins a Warsaken Series 1 booster pack. Congrats. So for Fawny, tee on up a top 10 finish. All the way to number 1. Your winner, Pennybags Jr. Open now for our next Twitchy Tides game with exclamation point play in chat. With a little on-screen rectangle there. We'll get ready for this next game of Twitchy Tides here in just a moment. This is NashvilleLou Live. Warsaken Blitz. Special presentation taking on Boss Baby. This is the deck that Boss Baby got 3 rounds won with. Nice. Thank you. Good luck. Have fun. I get out of order if I start trying to do this like this. It's exclamation point link and then your wax wallet. You only have to do it one time, so if you've done it in the past, but by watching Warsaken Blitz here, you earn loot from Warbot. A really nice perk for Warsaken Blitz, a big positive for streamers. So I've got this code from Boss Baby. Appreciate her being patient. And the next time, we'll do a stream together again sometime soon. We'll do it her way next time, and maybe her way make for a more exciting broadcast. I don't know. I really want to get this format in place with a few different opponents. If you want to tweak it a bit and then go from there. I think it's a great opportunity, especially if there are people with projects or games on whack they want to promote. Come on here, play me. We'll give away some stuff, and we'll talk it up, we'll hype it up. It's mostly Hex Tech, but not all Hex Tech here.
Warsaken.
So here we go, the third game of the broadcast for me against Boss Baby the Princess. It's Warsaken Blitz here on NashvilleLou Live. We'll have another Twitchy Tides game coming up after the conclusion of this game of Blitz. If you want in for Twitchy Tides, just type !play in chat. All right. So again, with Warsaken Blitz, you start with a leader, 4 territories, and a deck of 60 cards known as an arsenal. So your arsenal of 60. You're dealt 8 cards at random. You have the choice. You can keep them, or you can take a mulligan. It will reshuffle your arsenal and deal you 8 cards again if you take a mulligan. And seeing as I don't have any sort of a pair here, any sort, a good chance to use the mulligan. It'll do the shuffle, and then boom. So I've got a pair of intel cards here, that's all I need. Something that I can work with early. Building cards can get in the way early, but that's fine because I've got what I need here. You don't want to use that second mulligan unless you absolutely have to. Because if you do that, you're stuck with whatever they give you, and your opponent gets an extra card as a penalty. I'm not going to take that second mulligan, I'm going to keep it. Luckily for me, I get to go first. And again, you can customize a lot of different things, including the dye. This one I got the white with the purple. Kind of matches my brand colors. Purple and white. A NashvilleLou brand color. 1. Now, this is the perfect example of why I do it this way as far as my approach. Want to have something to work with early. Roll a 1 or a 2, and you got nothing else that you can play. At least here, I do have something I can play. Intel. Optimized outcome. Innovation. That's it for the turn. Made the most of it. So I'm playing Boss Baby the Princess here in Warsaken Blitz. Approaching the second hour of the broadcast. Probably only go about 2 hours, maybe a little bit of an overrun. But I was really wanting to play some Warsaken Blitz. Finally worked out for Boss Baby and I where we were able to play. Scheduling has been tricky. So a morale card, then a pair of force cards. Then a second morale. The Christmas colors, red and green. Those morale cards, or a morale match will knock 6 points off of my morale meter. My morale, the shield, the number of my shield, the morale is at 20. A morale match would knock it to 14. Roll to 5. And nothing makes a match that I can play yet. However, I can still do a few things. I'll go with the optimized outcome intel card, a second one of those. So a pair of intel cards. 3 spots open in my war zone. 4 actions to go for the turn. Let's go with weather, tropical cyclone. pair of weather cards. Pair of intel cards, pair of weather cards. 2 spots open by Warzone. 2 actions to go for the turn. Right here is where I've had a philosophical shift over the past couple of years with Warsaken. As far as before, I'd be a lot more inclined to play something in that 3rd spot in my Warzone. Now, not so much. Now, it doesn't really matter here because I'm not putting building cards out there. I'm just asking for trouble. And I don't have a force match, even a pair to use. Not just force, but anything. So, easy enough here. I'm going to keep that 3rd and 4th spots respectively open in my Warzone by playing nothing here for those last 2 actions. I'm going to pass them up in the turn. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess here in Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou live, roll 3. We've got 8 players in for that next game of Twitchy Tides. We're going to have that after this game of Blitz concludes. If you want in for Twitchy Tides, all you have to do is type !play in chat. Look at this morale getting lined up. Again, that morale is at 20 for me here, but that could change in a hurry if some of that morale started to hit. Weather card. 2 sets of 2 morale, a pair of force cards, and a weather card for Boss Baby the Princess. My turn. 3. Okay. This is an easier way to demonstrate what I was talking about. Yeah, it'd be great if I had something I wanted to go back for in my discard pile with these building trio right here. But right now, if you play a building match and you've got nothing in your discard pile, I've seen an opponent do it by mistake before. It just goes to your discard pile and you get nothing. So don't do that. Now I can play a pair of force cards. This is one of the coolest looking Hex Tech cards in the game, this Agent Rico Vidal. And it really pops with that background. He's right there. Get the shades, suspenders. He's making fun of his suspenders though. Not facing the business into that. Forget it. But that also means if I put that out there, I could get bounced with an intel play. I don't know that Boss maybe has intel already, but sometimes intel gets teased early and sometimes it shows up out of nowhere to slap you in the face. Point being, I'm not going to put the Ricos out there. Pass up those actions in the turn. It's Warsaken Blitz as we pass 8 p.m. Eastern. Roll 1. Playing Boss Baby the Princess tonight in these Warsaken Blitz games. Special presentation. We've had Twitchy Tides games. We'll have more coming up in this next hour, including an opportunity later this hour to win a Warsaken Series 1 booster pack. So 2 sets of 2 morale, a pair of force cards, and a weather. But it's my turn. 4. Yeah. Oh, there we go. It's hiding over here. At least I can make a play. Now, I don't want to go back for intel. I don't think that'd be the best use of those building cards. But I could if I deemed it a savvy move. Optimized outcome. Intel. Let's bounce. You have 3. Again, what matters is the category with Warsaken Blitz. So it's intel match. I can potentially split up these 3 sets of 2. Definitely this Rusty. Soldier, dog. We'll bounce one of the Rusties. Blood foil red propaganda. Bounce. Another morale card over here with Instilling Fear. You don't get nearly as much of a look at these morale cards here with Blitz as you do with the other categories in general. So when they show up, it's cool to take a look. But not for too long. We got a game to play. We got 3 more actions here for the turn. So again, I've got intel cards in my discard pile. Now I could play the building cards and go back for them. Could do that. I don't think that's my best move, though. I could put the Goliaths out there. I could put Rico out there. I could get really bold and put WMDs out there, but I think all that's a bad idea. So guess what? I'm not going to do it. Pass up the 3 actions in the turn. It's Warsaken Blitz here on NashvilleLou Live. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess tonight. First time ever for her and I to play in Warsaken Blitz. Special presentation with Twitchy Tides games. We've already had a couple. We got more coming up. If you want to get into that next game, you can see that little box I've got on screen there. Warsaken makes very good use of the on-screen space. And I prefer my games to be full screen. I think squishing, especially with this, where it's kind of difficult to read when it's smaller. But look, every streamers can do it however they want to. It's not my job to tell other people how to do their streams. A pair of building cards. Now, building match can go back for those morales that got bounced by me. 1 action to go for the turn. That's it for the turn. 3. All right, so I've got a weather match. Now we're talking. Now we can get something going with these building cards. Tropical Cyclone. Weather. Give me that extra turn. 2 actions to go for this turn. I'll play 2 of these. You can barely read it. This Jackal Airbase. I'll wait for the thing to kick in there. See, Jackal Airbase. Building card match. Or I have 2. It will be a match. Even if I roll a 1 here, I've got the 3rd to make a match. Usually I don't put building cards out there in partial form. This is the exception. Extra turn. 6. Building. Weather. Force. Options. Intel and weather over here. Play the weather first. When in doubt, play the weather first. That's usually going to be a good approach. Freezing rainstorm. Weather. Another extra turn. Eat them up. 3 actions to go for this turn. Here's the move. We'll go force. Bring out the Goliath 65. That army tank. 3 of those. Those 3 make a force match. That will allow me to eliminate one of my opponent's 4 territories. Got some unusual ones over here. Like something from Rabbit Larry with the unique -6 morale if taken out. If eliminated, I should say. With this Sanctuary. Look at that blue. That drops Boss Baby's morale from 20 down to 14. It's a -6. Because every territory is a certain amount of morale you lose if it gets eliminated from your side. Why? Well, luck had to run out eventually. I can play that 3rd building card. Go back for weather, go back for force, go back for intel. Got 3 sets of 2 force in hand, so I don't think that's the move here. I think I'm going to go back for weather. Go back to those cyclones, because I'll have 4 in hand. You can't see them because those blood foils don't show up very well. They're blood foils. Nobody's going to complain. Jackal Airbase. Turn 3 cards from my discard pile to my hand. This will light it up. Tropical Cyclone. Get all 3 of them at once. Finally, that's it for the Boss Baby. Like, finally. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess here in Warsaken Blitz. We're going to have another Twitchy Tides game coming up after this Blitz game concludes. Got 12 people in for that already. If you want in for that Twitchy Tides game, just type !play in chat. No play there for Boss Baby. My turn. 5. WMD match. Force. I'm going to play the weather first. I'll play 3 of these to get the extra turn. I'll play 2 of the WMDs. Even if the extra turn only yields me a 1, I get the 3rd right here. I get the forecast. Another tropical cyclone. That extra turn. Just got 2 actions for this turn. Affected water supply. Not pleasant, but not for me. Heading that way. Extra turn. 3. The parts and pieces I need to win. Let's see if I can put it together over the next couple of turns. Affected water supply. That's a WMD match. That allows me to eliminate 2 of my opponent's territories. North Oakworth. -6 morale. As a thermal ash. Only, see that 10 right there? That's because only 10 of those cards total exist. This Abandoned Wasteland only has a -1 morale. This tenant's got a -3. It doesn't make that much of a difference because I don't have a morale deck here, but it's just worth noting because that does come into play. Especially if your opponent's using some morale cards like Boss Baby is. Alright, got 2 actions for the turn. I could put a couple of these out there. I just think there's risk. Even though there's not any intel out there, doesn't mean it won't show up. So, let's see. Do you have any weather cards? Any oddball weather cards in here that throw me off? No. Those are all sets of 3. I always want to double check, though. Look before you leap in this game. Let's go with Terrifying Storm. Weather, 2 of those. That's it for the turn. And I probably would have been okay with a pair of force cards, because that would have required Boss Baby to use an intel match and only bounce 2 cards total, but I didn't think it was worth the risk. Roll a 6. And what I say about when your opponent gets 20 or more cards, look out. That's what Boss Baby has here. 20 cards, 6 actions. There's a morale match. That's going to drop my morale from 20 to 14. A morale match takes 6 points off your opponent's morale number. That hits 0, it's like if you have a compromise. It gives you a compromised leader, so just as if all your territories were gone, or if your arsenal were down to 0 cards. Those are the 3 ways you can get a compromised leader in Warsaken Blitz. Morale is the least common, but that makes it the most interesting when I play against it. I tend not to use it because I think that discourages my opponents, especially when I was playing a lot. I think that discouraged my opponents from using some of those more unusual territories with a higher morale ding when they got taken out. So if I'm staring down a bunch of -3 territories I've seen over and over, like, well, I don't want that to be a deterrent for people to have more variety. Once we get game reward XP, that's not going to matter anymore. 2 sets of 2 weather, a pair of building cards, and then a standalone weather. A lot of weather out there for Boss Baby. It's my turn. 1. I was hoping that weather was going to drop in a 3rd. Didn't happen. Yeah, there's a lot of things I could do, but I'm actually going to play another weather card here. Cloud cover. Send the jets. Stat. That's it for the turn. Roll of 2 for Boss Baby. So the way it works with this format with Warsaken Blitz, I'm playing against somebody, I've already got it set up. That way I'm not having to burn precious seconds trying to line up the next opponent. I'm not trying to chase people down. It's not like I'm working as a host at a busy restaurant, which is how it felt toward the end when I still had the queue system. I'm not bringing it back. No way. 3 sets of 2 weather. You better have the best maitre d' on earth to go handle that. 5. All right, weather and building. Let's see. Do I have the... Okay, so I should be able to do this here. I've got the force. When it rains, it pours. Plenty of forces to go around. No time for me to get flippant about it. Okay, let's play the 3rd. Remember I said every now and then there are times when that +3 actions is the better turn? Is the better move? I don't know if that would even matter here, but... I think that +3 is going to turn the 4... It'll turn to a 6 with a +1 below it. You don't get to see that often, so... See, 6, +1. If you see that from your opponent, it usually means you're about to lose, or your opponent made a blunder, one or the other. G6, R75, it doesn't matter which force trios I use. They all behave the same. When it comes to Warsaken Blitz, it's the categories that matter. It's a force match. Takes out that last territory for Boss Baby, Abandoned Wasteland. I need 1 force match to get the win. I've got 4 actions. Only need 3. Let's send an Agent Rico Vidal for the win. That is a Thermal Lash leader card right there. An infinite leader, no less. And there it goes. All right, good game, Boss Baby. I'm going to quit Twitchy Tide's game, and then we can play again. And if that sounds good. I'm not at all adept at typing one thing and saying another. I can't. Some people can do that. That's like when I worked in television. I always felt weird about getting in somebody's ear and talking to them while they were reading a different story. But I work with some very talented people that can pull that off. Me, not so much. Luckily, I was the producer and not the talent there. All right, so we got 13 people in for this next game of Twitchy Tides. We're going to get to it right now, so if you're not in, last chance to jump on board. Let's see, now let me see my team real fast here, because before, for some reason, my Inferno Nessie, my newcomer, she disappeared. She went AWOL. She's still missing. She had low. I need an appearance fee, pal. I'm hitting the road. Luckily, I got some other options here. Plenty of other options. So I'll go with play and exclamation. I'll use the Buster Beaver this time, just in the 3 spot. Got moved up. There we go, Buster Beaver. So it's exclamation point play in chat. Even if you don't have a wax wallet, even if you've never played this before, you're completely unfamiliar with all of this, you can play for fun. The game will assign you a fish and you can play for fun. It's great. This way, everybody that wants to play gets to. It works so much better this way. So 14 players. We got Liquid Shell, Cesaro NLV, Pennybags Jr., Funkin' Crypto, Finest HM, Chucky, Parrots, Fonny T, Nado6, Dave Ira, Random King, Taryn Lore, Cartman Bra, me, NashvilleLou, with that Buster Beaver, Crypto Gamers here, hello, and Flower is in. Those 16 players. So for this next game, the winner will receive a Warsaken Foil Prime card, plus a promotional item from the NashvilleLou collection. And in that bounty block that I've got pinned in chat, with that bounty block, you can burn those NashvilleLou collection promotional items and get extra entries into that bounty block. There's some Warsaken prizes in there as well, but for the grand prize, it's that Nessie Storm Scale Mint number 69 that I was fortunate enough to pull in that really fun event over the weekend over on Twitchy Tides TV. So more details, it's NashvilleLou.com/contest. Well, I'm a lot more comfortable promoting URLs where I actually own and operate them. But it's going to take you to the bounty block, and it'll be good to go if you want to check that out. CMC is in. Hello. Those 17 players here. If I win, the prize goes to second place. And this third game of the broadcast begins now. Good luck. We'll have more Warsaken Blitz on the other side of this Twitchy Tides game. We start with 17 players. Quickly down to 15 as Debo the Shark chomps away, takes out Cartman Bra and CMC. My NashvilleLou Live logo off the screen. Up top, Pink Felicia takes out Crypto Gamer, takes out My Fish as well. Down to 13. That's a Big Worm. That was the no. I guess Big Worm's hiding one side of the screen or the other. Or perhaps Big Worm got run off. Maybe not. There goes Dave Ira. We're down to 12. Sometimes Big Worm, that hook, like I've got this at, there's not any part of this that's cropped here. This is full screen you're seeing. Cannonball takes out Random King. We're down to 11. But sometimes that Big Worm, that on one side or the other, can be just enough off screen where it's tough to see. Meanwhile, I can move my overlay down there as Taryn Lord's built a dam with that beaver. And then finally, the dam has to go. So we're down to 11. It's Twitchy Tides here on NashvilleLou Live. We'll have more Warsaken Blitz just ahead as I'm taking on Boss Baby the Princess tonight in this special presentation. Now it's beginning to rain harder. That Stormcaller command, Funkin' Crypto. The highest of those Nessies, those dragons. And a warning for Pink Felicia. We had a rain out. The fish are fed up. They're fighting back against these opponents. Meanwhile, Debo's not too concerned about that. Chomping away, taking out Taryn Lore along with Pennybags Jr. So for the remaining players, you got a top 10 finish. But who's going to be the winner? Pink Felicia zaps Nadu 6. Cesaro NLV. We're down to 7. More rain. That forecast. Overnight tonight. Heavy downpours. Finally goes away. For now. Debo the Shark. Chomping away. Taking out Flower. Taking out Fonny T. We're down to 5. It's Twitchy Tides here on NashvilleLou Live. We'll have more Warsaken Blitz just ahead. Now Pink Felicia. Going down Broadway left to right. Liquid Chill manages to get out of the way, but Chucky's going to run right into Felicia, get zapped. So we're down to the final four. It's Liquid Shell, Finest HM, Funkin' Crypto, and Parrot 314. The last four. Debo the Shark. Debo takes out Finest. We're down to three. Liquid Shell, Parrot 314, and Funkin' Crypto. The last three. A couple of Nessies in there along with that Lulu that Parrot has with that spin move. Big worm with a hook on that far post of the Twitchy Tide sign on the left side of the screen. Funkin' Crypto hits the hook, which also takes out Parrot, and that's the game. So congratulations, Liquid Chill. Victorious here in this third Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast. All right, so for Pennybags Jr. on up, a top 10 finish all the way to number 1, and your winner, Liquid Chill 80, victorious. Back open for our next Twitchy Tides game with exclamation mark play in chat. I'll communicate here with Boss Baby. I think my next deck build will be a deck dedicated to playing against you. Noting here to her. I've been lucky tonight. Sometimes you get the breaks in this game. You can't get too high or too low on any one game of Warsaken Blitz. I think I provided the code this. I tend to forget this. So let's see. We'll use the dog deck. The dog deck, as you might imagine, is a fan favorite. So we'll go with the dog deck. Make sure I don't have anything pulled up that's covering things. Okay. Which I'm trying to chat there in Discord, but then if I pull that up, that hides my OBS Studio screen. This will work. That's the fun of Blitz. Boss Baby, indeed. That is part of the fun. I'll send here in this Discord chat. And luckily, it's obstructed from the view of chat, so no Weisenheimers can get in there and try and snatch it. No ribs. Good luck, have fun. We've got 4 people in for the next game of Twitchy Tides. You can join the list with exclamation mark play in chat. So I've sent the code over to Boss Baby, and we'll get connected here in a moment and get this next game of Warsaken Blitz going. Later this hour, we'll be giving away another Warsaken Series 1 booster pack. Many thanks to Warsaken for providing me with those packs to give away. All right, so again, with Warsaken Blitz, you've got a leader card, 4 territories, and your arsenal of 60, your deck, but it's called an arsenal in Warsaken. With Warsaken Blitz, each player is dealt 8 cards. And the player has a decision. Keep it or do a redraw. Take a mulligan. If you're familiar with golf, like a redo. And I'm going to need a mulligan here because nothing makes a pair at all. So the mulligan will reshuffle my arsenal of 60 and then deal me 8 cards once again. You hear these seagull sounds. Tranquil looking setting there with that Turtle Cove, but the battle will be anything but. Okay, this is not good because, again, nothing makes a match. So again, when I say only use that second mulligan when you have to, this is a case where I have to. So Boss Baby's going to get an extra card in her hand to start. And I'm stuck with whatever they give me. That's the way it works. By chance, she gets to go first. That's luck of the draw. And here's some further evidence of another point worth making. The answers to your problems in Warsaken Blitz won't necessarily be there with that second mulligan. Nothing makes even a pair in hand. And yet it might not matter, depending on how it plays out. Weather match. So weather match means an extra turn, pair of force cards with Rusty, the dog soldier. Roll a 6. 15 cards and 6 actions. There's a force match. Boss Baby. That force match takes out one of my 4 territories. I'm down to 3. That was a -3 morale damage territory, so it drops from 20 down to 17. Force match. This will eliminate a second territory. 17 down to 14 now. 2 actions to go for the turn. Morale. Pair of morale cards. Propaganda. I think it's still the #1 all-time clip from Warsaken. It's talking about propaganda cards. Like one of the very first broadcasts I had. Like a bag of Skittles with different flavors. Just the way it worked out with the cards I had today. All right, 4 actions here. Wide open war zone. So at least I have something I can play here. Could be worse. Rusty. Soldier. Dog. That's the black camo version. I've got a Fire Forged First Wave version. But for the purposes of Blitz, it doesn't matter what the rarity of the card is. It's that it's a pair of force cards out there. If I have a third, that'd be a force match. 3 spots open in my war zone. 2 actions to go for the turn. Some people would throw a random weather out here as a one-off, or even a pair of weather cards, 1 each. But I'm not going to do that. Pass up those 2 actions in the turn. Remember, if you put it out there, it could get bounced. It could also be in the way. Although, in general, if you're going to have something in the way, a weather card is going to be the best thing to have for that. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess here with this special presentation of Warsaken Blitz. Had Twitchy Tides games in between these games of Blitz. We've got 6 people in for that next game of Twitchy Tides. You can join the list with !play in chat. Roll of 1 for Boss Baby. Intel. Standalone Intel card. That ends the turn. My turn. 2. Well, that worked out. A third Rusty. Soldier. Dog. That's a force match. So it doesn't matter if it's an aircraft carrier, a jet, a guy with a big bazooka, or a dog soldier. For the purposes of Warsaken Blitz, it's a force match, and that's what matters. Full stop. That eliminates one of my opponent's 4 territories. I get to pick which one. This time we'll take out North Oakworth first. This Thermal Ash rarity, -6 morale. That 20 drops to a 14. As far as the morale for Boss Baby. If that hits 0, that would give Boss Baby a compromised leader, but I'm not packing morale cards with this, so. So it's unlikely to happen. I think it's safe to say. I got 1 action to go for the turn. Wide open war zone. Play 1. It's the dog deck, so I've got the X3 black dog. Tank. Play 1 of these. That ends my turn. We've got 8 people in now for that next Twitchy Tides game. Roll a 6. I'll go ahead and say for that next Twitchy Tides game, we'll make that where there's a Warsaken pack on the line, as there's an Intel match that's going to mill 6 cards from my arsenal to my discard pile. I'm down to 40 cards in my arsenal. A peek at what got bumped over here. WMD show up there, one thing. Building cards show up there, bad news. If your building cards end up in your discard pile, then you don't have what you need to go back and get them. Then you're stuck. Stuck with these cards on screen until I get the die rolled here. But I can tell you just from looking at the emblems, you got a pair of morale cards, a pair of weather cards, and a pair of WMDs staring me down, but it's my turn. 6. Weather match. That'll give me an extra turn. Tropical cyclone weather. An extra turn. 3 actions still to go for this turn. I got 3 spots open in my war zone. Now, nothing else makes a match, but I can play a second X3 black dog. 3 spots open in my war zone, 2 actions for the turn. Play a second pair of force cards with the DX8. Now the extra turn. 1. Lucky me. Lucky dog with the X3 black dog. This will be a second force match for me. Eliminate a second territory for Boss Baby the Princess, my opponent tonight. It's a unique card right here, the Sanctuary. It's a -6 morale, but look at this blue that hit you home. And aside from Rabbit Larry, you won't see these cards that often. So it's really fun when it shows up here on stream. And now I eliminate it because that's what I do. Yeah, I have to. If you want to win the game, you got to take out all of those territories. If that's the path, you could try and get your opponent's arsenal down to 0, get their morale to 0, but that's a matter of your deck configuration. Morale match. That took 6 points off my morale. I won't be able to show you the number because it immediately disappeared. They really want me to roll the dice, I will. But it's down to an 8. Roll to 2. Nothing makes a match. So if that hits 0, it won't matter if I have territories remaining. It won't matter if I have cards in my arsenal. Because if your morale hits 0, it'll give you a compromised leader. So there's that. Play a pair of intel cards. Subversion tactic. Sabotage. That's it for the turn. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess in this Warsaken Blitz special. We've had Twitchy Tides games. In between these Warsaken Blitz games, we'll have more Twitchy Tides coming up. That next game of Twitchy Tides will have a Warsaken Series 1 booster pack on the line for the winner. Your chance to win's coming up. Roll 6. If Boss Baby can make a WMD match and a Force match here, that would be the game. She's got 15 cards in hand. We go with the 6 actions. Weather can mean an extra turn. Now the question for Boss Baby is, what if you have a 3rd Force match in hand? How long do you wait? Building cards. If you pay attention, you can see what your opponent goes back for. Although it's going to be revealed to be right here. Weather. Extra turn. Boss Baby with a roll of 6. So I bet she's looking for a 3rd White Phosphorus Bomb or some sort of WMD match. Look out. This is probably going to do it right here. It'll give me a compromised leader. All that Boss Baby needs is a Force match to bait me now. Compromised. Will this do it? Building cards. Pair of weather cards. 2 sets of 2 weather and a pair of building cards in that opposite side war zone. I've got a compromised leader. All Boss Baby needs is a Force match to get the win. And yet it's my turn. 4. Well, won't happen here. Play a pair of weather cards. Fire in the fields. Pair of weathers, pair of Force cards, pair of intel cards. I've got 1 spot open in my war zone. I'm not going to fill it up with anything. So I'm going to forego those final 2 actions and end the turn. The music takes an ominous turn. This is foreshadowing. Roll a 2. But there's 2 more to match the Force card that's out there with that Sergeant Mickey Blackstone, and that would be the game. It's Warsaken Blitz here on NashvilleLou Live. Coming up with that next Twitchy Ties, give us a pullback. A pullback on that Force card and then a building card play. Isn't that interesting? I was not expecting to still be in the game at this point, and yet here I am. 2. Well, you know, I'm passive the actions. Ending the turn. My opponent is Boss Baby the Princess. This is Warsaken Blitz here on NashvilleLou Live, a special presentation. Roll 3. If you haven't gotten in on it yet, I've got the new bounty block pinned in chat. NashvilleLou.com/contest will take you there. There's a second building card. Am I really going to get another roll after this? Is that really going to happen here? It will. Look at that. 2 sets of 2 building cards, 2 sets of 2 weather over there, but here I am with a third roll that I wasn't expecting. You never know how a given game of Warsaken Blitz is going to turn out. There's a 6. Man, what could have been if that would have been a WMD dropping in there. Sometimes that last WMD never shows up for you. I do have options here. I've got 4s, I got intel, building cards, the most interesting. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot about the stuff that got bounced. Final Devotion in there. I got 2 of those in hand. Yes, I do. So I can give Boss maybe a compromised leader here. What do I have weather card-wise? Fire in the Fields. What about that? Any Fire in the Fields in here? Little Ideal Conditions, Blinding Sandstorm. No, not ideal, not you. You. The Blood Foil. So I don't have that. Alright, so I'll play the building cards to get a match. I'll go back for the Final Devotion. I get 2 more. Ideal Conditions, do I have 1 of those in hand? I do. I could go back and play that instead, but I think that'd be a bit risky. Bit risky to do it that way. Maybe not. Although, well, let's do it. Sawyer's Garage. This is a building match. Once you've made that move, you can't look back in your hand, so keep that in mind. One I really need is right here. Final Devotion. We'll go with Ideal Conditions as well. Those weather cards might come in handy. But you know what? This will give Boss maybe a compromised leader. She rolls a 1 here. Now, here's the thing. I could play weather cards, but then I've got to hope that I roll a 6 or something to get additional actions to go, and then maybe that'll work, maybe it won't. So I'm not going to play that. Do it that way. Instead, let's play this Final Devotion WMD match. Finally, at long last. This will give Boss maybe a compromised lead or next force match for either of us wins the game. Roll a 4. This will probably do it. If Boss Baby has a building match, she can go back for a trio of 4s cards. She can go back for Rusty and sick Rusty on me for the win. A weather match can mean an extra turn. Well, I think we're about to see it happen here. She can go with Rusty. She can go with Sergeant Mickey. She can go with Sergeant Mickey. There it is, a force match. And that's going to be the game of victory for Boss Baby the Princess. All right, good game. Nice one. All right, so chatting there with Boss Baby the Princess in the Discord chat we have set up. All right, now we've got 15 people in for this next game of Twitchy Tides. I usually take 1 break per hour here on NashvilleLou Live, so I'm going to do that here and now. Be about a 5-minute break on the other side of it. We'll be back with this next Twitchy Tides game. Winner gets an item from the NashvilleLou collection. You can use that to get extra entries. Those promotional items from the NashvilleLou collection, you can burn those within that bounty block event that I've got pinned in chat. Winner of this next game gets one of those. Also gets a Warsaken Series 1 booster pack. It'll be about a 5-minute break. We'll be back with that. Then at least 1 more game of Warsaken Blitz taking on Boss Baby the Princess in this Warsaken Blitz special here on NashvilleLou Live. Stay tuned. break. We'll have more Warsaken Blitz here in just a few minutes. Right now, though, it's time for some Twitchy Tides. We've got 16 players in for this next game. Take this overlay down. I'll join as well by typing !play in chat. I'll use the Lulu fish. Become my unofficial mascot of sorts here on NashvilleLou Live. Big fan of Lulu. Even got its own emote over on Twitchy Tides TV, which I can use here. So we got 17 players, and we go through this list of participants. For the winner, the prize is a Warsaken Series 1 booster pack, along with a promotional item from the NashvilleLou collection. You can use that promo item in the new bounty block and burn it within the way it's set up there, and it'll give you a couple extra points, boost your chances of winning. We've got some Warsaken prizes for some of the consolation prize packages. For the winner, it's a Twitchy Tides Nessie Storm Scale mint number 69. Let's go through this list of players right now. We got Fonny T, Flower, Parrots, Tyrann Lore, Random King, Bunkin Crypto, Carbon Bra, Liquid Shell, Cesaro NLV, Pennybags Jr., Nado 6, Soul the Cats. I'm not even sure how to read that name. Dur H, Dave Ira, Flantality, Rock Metal, and me, NashvilleLou, with a Lulu fish. We got 17 players in. If I happen to win, prize goes to second place. I have this noted correctly here for later. This is a game with that Warsaken Series 1 booster pack on the line. And this fourth game of the broadcast begins now. Good luck. It's Twitchy Tides here on NashvilleLou Live. We'll have more Warsaken Blitz in just a little bit. Depth charge early on takes out Pennybags Jr. We got a Doppler radar gimmick going on there with Parrot. Laser focus, and then a spin. Got a couple of those Rainbow Soul the Catfishes in the mix. And I realize the plural of fish is fish, but sometimes hear the fishies referred to. Like sleeps with the fish is kind of wordplay with Twitchy Tides. Gotta go with it. Bunkin Crypto and Carbon Bra are out. Down to 11. Depth charge down to 9. Dur H and Nadu 6 are out, so everybody still in the mix. You've earned a top 10 finish. But who's going to be the winner? Who's going to get that pack? Sneaking on the ground level from right to left is Painful Alicia zapping Liquid Chill and Dave Ira. Down to 7. Just this dream command here for my Lulu fish. Pink Felicia up top. Zaps Random King. And we're down to 6. This is Twitchy Tides here on NashvilleLou Live. We'll have more Warsaken Blitz here. Just a couple of moments. Flantality gets flattened by that cannonball. We're down to 5. Cannonball. Bonnie T. Well timed with that flare command with the Neon Leon fish. That sent that cannonball back in the other direction. So for the moment, the 5 players, and they're still in the mix. We got a depth charge. See if they're that ominous blinking red. Can my Lulu get past? And indeed, it's going to take out Soul the Cat and Cesaro NLV. We're down to 3, and I'm one of them, so remember, if I win, that prize goes to second place. There's a pack on the line here. I'm out, so that's going to be immaterial. Got a Rock Metal with that fish, similar to an Atari 2600 controller from back in my day, and then Fonny T with that Neon Leon, the last 2, and Rock Metal hits Pink Felicia. That's the game. So congratulations, Fonny T. Victorious. So you win promotional item from the NashvilleLou collection and that Warsaken Series 1 booster pack. Congratulations. Remember, Fonny T won a pack different pack that we had on yesterday's show on Tides Tuesday. So yesterday, the winner of Twitchy Tide Series 4.1 pack, and here, the winner of a Warsaken Series 1 booster pack. Congratulations, Fonny T, on the win. So Nadu 6 on up, a top 10 finish. Up to number 1. Fonny T with a win. All right, so back up. We'll have at least one more Twitchy Tides game. Let me get in communication here with Boss Baby. He's been patient. Thank you for the code. Look, have fun. I'm going to type in this code. There we go. To make sure it went through. Now I'll go this. When in doubt, this is my, when it's time to dig deep in a tournament, when it's all on the line, go with that night vision deck. See what Chancellor Lockwood and company have. So we'll go with this here. But unlike a tournament, this is a
Warsaken
series of friendly games taking on Boss Baby the Princess here in Warsaken Blitz. Playing some Twitchy Tides games in between. We'll have at least one more Twitchy Tides game. This may be the last game of Blitz. It'll depend on what Boss Baby. This will be the 5th game we'll have played, so it puts us about on target. And then we'll have a Twitchy Tides game to wrap it up. So again, we have both sides. You start with a leader card, 4 territories, and then your arsenal is 60. 15 sets of 4. I'm looking for something I can work with right away. A pair of weather cards fits the bill for that, so I'm going to keep it. This is quite the game method I have here. A lot of red. It's like the inside of a computer, a mainframe. Only if it was lit up in red. 3. I can hide my real flex. Hide my blood foil weather cards out there in the red. Boss Baby will never see it. Tropical Cyclone. Pair of weather cards with 3 spots open in my war zone and 1 action to go for the turn. Intel. Stolen blueprints. Sabotage. That's it for the turn. It's not going to let me click. Well, at F5, I'm going to see what the roll is. Roll 1. For Boss Baby the Princess, who's been my opponent tonight with these Warsaken Blitz games, when the game won't let you click, the 1... Again, this game is still in beta, I should note. Well, that's what happens if you go all the way through to your opponent playing. If you don't click the button, eventually it just goes away. So weather card played there with the 1 action. My turn. 4. All right, so nothing makes a match. Got a pair of weather cards. I've got that standalone stolen blueprints. I'll play a second of those. Pair of weather cards, pair of intel cards. 2 spots open in my war zone. 3 actions to go for the turn. We've got 9 people in for that next game of Twitchy Tides. If you want to join the list, just type !play in chat. It's a little bit of a decision right here. That 3rd spot in my war zone, I could put that out there. And I would definitely do that over a pair of force cards in this case. But I don't know. That also blocks. If I get weather the next turn I want to play, then I'm going to do a pullback. Maybe I got the actions. Maybe I don't. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to pass up these 3 actions. As much as that does feel counterintuitive, it really is this better move at times. We'll see if it plays out for me here. See how this one works. I'll pass up the actions in the turn. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess in Warsaken. I love Warsaken Blitz. I have so much fun with this. Love Twitchy Tides as well. We got that coming up. 10 players in for that next game. That small rectangle there on the screen. There's not a whole lot of space to put things on a Warsaken Blitz board because, as far as the overlay goes, because they make such good use of the space for the game. So there's a lot out there. You got a pair of weather cards, pair of morale cards, weather, force, sitting out there. My turn. 6. All right, so we got a force match. I know for sure. The rest, get some weather out there. Renzo, the boss. Soldier supplier. He's got the hookup for you. He's smoking. He's got that hat, a low brim. Let's make this deal quick. So that force match allows me to eliminate one of my opponent's 4 territories. It's the Sanctuary territory. Unique with that blue. But it's -6 morale if eliminated, so it's worth noting. That's going to drop that from 20 down to 14 for Boss Baby. 3 actions to go for the turn. 2 spots open in my war zone. Play some weather. Freezing rainstorm. Icy. It's Warsaken Blitz here on NashvilleLou Live. Just the 1 action. No way I'm going to fill anything in that 4 spot in my war zone. Keep that open. Pass up the action in the turn. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess, who's been my opponent tonight with this Warsaken Blitz special. Had fun with this. Had fun with these Twitchy Tides games. We'll have at least 1 more Twitchy Tides game. That'll be coming up on the other side of this Warsaken Blitz game. 11 cards and 3 actions for Boss Baby. A pullback on that Force card. A pair of WMDs. Interesting. My turn. 1. Well. Know what I'm doing here. Passing up the action. Ending the turn. Taking on Boss Baby the Princess here in Warsaken Blitz. Roll a 5. So a second weather card there with ideal conditions. And that's it. Wow. My turn. 5. All right, we got weather. We got intel. We got options. Tropical cyclone, weather. With that extra turn. We'll get to that in a moment. I got 4 actions still to go for this turn. Ready to bounce? Let's bounce. Stolen blueprints. Intel match. Did force the enemy discard. We've seen that a couple of times tonight. Had a few times read my arsenal milled, which sounds quite unpleasant. It's not fun when it happens in game. Let's bounce. You can bounce 3 cards from your opponent's war zone to your opponent's discard pile. White phosphorus bomb. WMD. Bounce 1 of those. I'd almost rather split the weathers than the morale. The morale could end up doing me in, but I think that's going to be my approach here. Ideal conditions. 1 of them.
Select target.
And then this night vision, freezing rainstorm. Ice at night. Rough combo. Bounce. All right, 3 actions to go for the turn. Nothing else makes a match. Got a pair of weather cards out there. 3 spots open in my war zone. We'll go with another pair of weather cards. Tranquil Sunlight. 2 sets of 2 weather with 2 spots open in the war zone and 1 action for the turn. Got a variety of options here, but like I was noting earlier, keeping that 3rd spot, even when it's in a different location, a different slot than it normally is, it's still that 3rd spot that's open. I want to protect that, so I'm going to pass at that last action in the turn. Extra turn. 3, because you might roll a 3 and then need exactly 3. But in this case, I got some weather I can play, get yet another extra turn. Let the good times roll on that. Tranquil Sunlight. Weather. That extra turn. 3 spots open in my war zone. 2 actions to go for this turn with an extra turn pending. Got what else? I got weather. Let's go with satellite recon. Intel. Innovation. Now the additional extra turn. 6. Always that question, how long do you wait? All right, here's what we'll do. We'll start with a satellite recon. Bounce. Propaganda, blood foil. Only 4 of these total exist. And this one's getting bounced.
Select target.
That second WMD, no need to have that sitting around.
Select target.
And it doesn't really matter between the weathers. Already got split. We'll take it ideal conditions. Now, 5 actions to go for the turn. Do I have any standalone forces? I think these are all sets of 3 over here. Alright. Because that's not really going to be... sometimes it does matter if you've got a 4th card in your war zone versus your discard pile versus your hand. It helps to just take an extra second if you need to look. Alright, let's play Max Harper Dealer Force.
Select target.
We'll eliminate North Oakworth. -6 morale, if eliminated. That's going to go from a 14 down to an 8. I have 2 actions to go for the turn, 3 spots open in my war zone. I think instead of tempting fate there with that, I think instead let's go weather, pair of pair of fire in the fields weather cards, including that thermal ash. Put that one on top. That's it for the turn. Roll of 1 here for Boss Baby as we approach 9 p.m. Eastern. Here on NashvilleLou Live, we'll have Twitchy Tides coming up after the conclusion of this game of Warsaken Blitz. 15 cards in 1 action here for Boss Baby the Princess. Got a building card out there. My turn. 2. That'll work. As far as getting the extra turn. Okay, so I can play this Freezing Rainstorm. I got 2 of them out there. Let's play the 3rd. Freezing Rainstorm. That extra turn. Now I do have a decision here as far as 1 action for the turn. How risky do I want to get with this? If I roll on this extra turn, if I roll a 5 or a 6, if I got one of these sitting out there and I roll a 5, and I get a WMD match in hand, I could win the game. So we'll at least play one of these Barracudas. A little bit of a recon with a speedboat. Big roll right here. 5. Got it. All right, so if I play it correctly, I'll get the win, I think. EMP Discharge, be a WMD match. Eliminate the last 2 territories there for Boss Baby the Princess. Magnetic. This will give Boss Baby a compromised leader. Once that happens, all I need is a force match to get the win. Only have 2 actions left for the turn. Luckily, it worked out with the Barracuda. Got 1 sitting out there. Make sure I play the right cards here. That's the only thing that could... A blunder, the only thing that could stop me for a power outage. C5 Barracuda before any of that can happen. Play it. Do it. And that'll be the game. All right, so I think that'll be the last of the Warsaken Blitz games of the broadcast. Many thanks to Boss Baby the Princess for playing. We'll play again sometime soon. We'll do it her way. This is very straightforward, a bit more stoic perhaps than what we'll have. Probably a lot of fun coming up soon. So we'll, when I know more about that, I'll let you know. What I know is right now, we're about to have ourselves the last Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast. Let me type something here real fast. There we go. So I was letting Boss Baby know I appreciate her taking the time to play this and sitting around and waiting a little bit. But a lot of fun playing Warsaken Blitz. A lot of fun playing Twitchy Tides. Sure I have the proper mouse. That would help. Alright, so I got 15 players in. Make sure I got out of sequence. And when that happens, mistakes can happen. So I'm going to get into this Rainbow Soul the Catfish. Got 3 of them in there, 16. So for this last game of the broadcast, the winner gets a Warsaken Foil Prime card, plus a promotional item from the NashvilleLou collection. My artwork and promo items on wax. You can use those in the bounty block that I've got linked. I've got, I should say, pinned in chat, the link. It's NashvilleLou.com/contest. With that bounty block. Chance to get some of the consolation prizes. We got some Warsaken stuff in the mix. The grand prize is that Nessie Storm Scale, mint number 69 from Twitchy Tides. So if you're wanting for this last game, last chance to get in. Let's go with this list of players. All right, so we got Dur H, Liquid Chill, Fonny T, Funkin' Crypto, Parrot 314, Cesaro NLV, Flantality, Soul the Cat, Dave Ira, Flower, Terran Lore, Cabinara. I was saying it wrong before. It's Cabinarna. I go back and listen to my broadcast. I was listening to the one from yesterday. I was doing a lot of website work today. Oh, I mispronounced that. Cabinarna. NashvilleLou. I know that one. That's me. Jamie Penguins. Anti-Killa. Pennybags Jr. Dr. Doom. And Dragon Rider. So 18 players in this last Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast. So if I happen to win, the prize goes to second place. This 5th game of the broadcast of Twitchy Tides begins now. Good luck. It's Twitchy Tides here on NashvilleLou Live. You'll want to make plans Tuesday next week. Tides Tuesday, as Fonny T and I are out early. That depth charge down to 16. We'll have Tides Tuesday. We have wind and weather here. It's an all-day event. It's a multi-day event. My portion gets going 10 p.m. Eastern. Look at my #1 show. Like starting to get on the cusp of partner status. #1 show. Up to 14. I'm not there yet, but those kind of numbers, the way this game, Twitchy Tides, holds an audience like no other. Cannonball, Flower, Flantality, and Dur H are out. Down to 11. The Hook. I got foiled there for Big Worm. The fish are fighting back. That Scales command from Liquid Chill. The Hook takes out Dave Ira. We're down to 10. So for the remaining players, you've got a top 10 finish out of this. Who's going to be the winner? Up top, a Cannonball. That eliminates Dragon Rider, and we're down to 9. Half the field is out. Depth charge, and there goes Cabinarna. Down to 8. The Hook from Big Worm takes out Parrot and Jamie Penguins. We're down to 6. Now here comes Debo the Shark going left to right, ground level. That Scales command flipped Debo for real. But look how those teeth are still sharp. There goes Anti-Killa. There goes Cesaro NLV. We're down to 4 as the rain begins to pick up. Dr. Doom, Funkin' Crypto, Liquid Chill, Soul the Cat. The last 4. Cannonball takes out Cat, takes out Dr. D. So we're down to the final 2, Liquid Chill and Funkin' Crypto. Neon Space NFT, thank you for the raid. Thank you, thank you. Spin move there by Funkin' Crypto. We're down to the final 2. Funkin' Crypto and Liquid Chill. These Battle of the Nessies here. See that depth charge. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do a shout out properly. There we go. Many thanks to the raid, Neon Space NFT. If you don't follow them, you should do so immediately. I got some interesting and entertaining streams, and that's the game. A Cannonball takes out Funkin' Crypto. And so it's Liquid Chill victorious. We're going to do one more Twitchy Tides game. We had that audience that came in. Hey, did somebody come in the last? Yeah, that was great. You don't get to play. Sorry, pal. Doors are shutting. Luckily here, it's not like I've got a satellite window that closes at the top of the hour. It's not like somebody else thinks it's one turn. It's not like when I was working in radio in college. We didn't have any HD sub channels, pal. You're either on the air or you aren't. Get a lot more flexibility this way. Still hasn't gotten old to me. We'll have one more game after, well, we just finished this one. First, let's go through the, I can get to scroll down further. There we go. So for Dragon Rider on up, a top 10 finish. All the way to number 1. And your winner, Liquid Chill. So we'll have one more Twitchy Tides game. Appreciate y'all coming in from Neon Space NFT. Many thanks for the raid. You can join here with !play in chat to get into this last game. Do it the same as before. The winner gets a Warsaken foil prime card. Plus a promo item from the NashvilleLou collection. I've got it linked. Got it pinned, I should say, more importantly, in chat. The link to the bounty block, which I've got set up NashvilleLou.com/contest. Can I make archive? I make highlights of my broadcasts here on Twitch. So they stick around indefinitely. So if this is still here 5 years from now, I want to make sure these URLs I'm talking about, the ones I'm talking about, where I'm going to have a pretty good idea of who's going to own them 5 years from now. You never know with some of these others. Better safe than sorry. So it's NashvilleLou.com/contest. That's normally my redirect I'll go to. That's set up right now for that bounty block we got going on. A lot of fun with that. A lot of easy ways to get in. I don't have to spend any money. We got 11 players in. And for a lot of stuff you're probably already doing, you're probably following a lot of the people as is. If you're into the world of Twitch gaming and live streaming, with Wax Gaming in particular. All right, so we got a dozen people in. Want to join as well with !play. Go with the Lulu fish. I noted before, it's my unofficial mascot of sorts here on NashvilleLou Live. Big fan. I've even got the emote from Twitchy Tides TV. Use that there. So that'll be the fish I'll use here. Let's go through this last chance if you want to get into this last game of the broadcast. Let's go through this list of players. Got 13 in. We got Liquid Chill, Funkin' Crypto, Cabinarna, Flower, Parrot, Cesaro NLV, Random King, Dragon Rider, Nado6, Pettybax Jr., Terran Lore, Bonnie T, and then me, NashvilleLou, with a Lulu fish. Kyung Wei is in to give us 14. So same as before, where if I win, that prize goes to second place. And this 6th, and what I believe will be the final game of the broadcast, begins now. Good luck. Had a lot of fun earlier with Warsaken. Blitz having fun right now with Twitchy Tides. Big Worm that hook takes out Terran Lore and Liquid Chill. You need at least 10 players for a game that counts for the standings, the leaderboards in Twitchy Tides. There's so much more to this game than what I really get into here on stream very much, because this fits so perfectly for what I need. These games, Parrot and Flower both eliminated. So for everybody else, you got a top 10 finish. That's one thing with a game with 14 players versus like 45, or what Consumer Break had like 100 or so earlier today. Easier to get a top 10 finish this way. Meanwhile, here comes Pink Felicia going down Broadway right to left. Random King is out. So is Pettybags Jr. Half the field is out. We're down to 7. Cannonball. I got sent back in the other direction. Fawny T. Well timed with that flare command. I love that Neon Leon fish. I believe only 25 of them. I've got one. Save it for special occasions. Like when you really want to win. Down to 6. The hook, Big Worm. That gets Kyung Wei along with Fawny T. Down to the final 4. Kyung Wei hits a baby shark command on the way out. Little disco ball party. Again, because of the copyright monsters, they're just completely unreasonable when it comes to audio and music especially. So with that in mind, I'm very cautious about the music and the audio I have. So that's why you don't get the baby shark music. I'm out, hit the depth charge. So we're down to the final 3. Nado6, Dragon Rider, and Funkin' Crypto. The last 3. Got a green grass floor there. Look at this different color scheme here. Now it's starting to rain. Weather picks up. Dragon Rider taken out by Debo. Then Debo got dealt with. Maybe a lightning strike there. Was Funk and Crypto and Nadu 6. Final two in the mix here. And look out for Debo, who gets Funk and Crypto, and that's the game. So congratulations. Nadu 6 with the victory here in this 6th game of the broadcast. All right, make sure my notes are in order here, so please give me a moment on that. Prizes will be sent out shortly after the conclusion of the broadcast, and those will be sent from my fulfillment wallet. If you ever wonder what prizes were sent out and when, all that, just look on the wax chain. It's very easy. It's very convenient. That way it verifies. Like I say, it's anybody can look. You've got accountability, total accountability. That's a good thing. Total transparency. As for this last game versus Sorrow NLB, on up a top 10 finish all the way to number 1 and your winner, Nadu 6. Would have been smoother if I had the slate up. There we go, the slate. All right, so I think we'll do a riddle to Flantality. Let's see what Flantality's got going on. But first, a quick sig out, so I have a cut point for VOD. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. That's going to do it for this broadcast at NashvilleLou Live. I'm your host, Lou Pickney. Thanks for watching. See you next time.